Welcome to a new episode of Plots We Have at Home, where we come up with the most unhinged story prompts this side of the Atlantic and let ChatGPT do the hard work and make sense of it.
Or not. We read the stories out loud for you, and it's always the first time for both of us hearing them, so you get our unfiltered reactions.
I'm Danny.
And I'm John.
And let's dive right into our first story of the day.
Story number 1. Murder and Misconceptions. In the bustling city of London, Sherlock Holmes and Dr. John Watson found themselves engrossed in a perplexing murder case. The victim, a prominent scientist, had been found dead under mysterious circumstances. As the investigation progressed, the clues led them across the Atlantic Ocean to the United States of America, where they found themselves at the renowned Princeton Plainsboro Teaching Hospital. Okay. Sherlock and John had been informed that the hospital's team of experts, led by Dr. Gregory House, was renowned for their diagnostic skills. Eager to tap into their knowledge and expertise, the duo made their way to the hospital. Upon arriving, they were directed to Dr. James Wilson, House's closest confidant and oncologist, who agreed to introduce them to the enigmatic detective. Wait, he's a detective now?
Wait, maybe Sherlock.
Fair, I guess. In a dimly lit office within the hospital, Sherlock and John found themselves face to face with Dr. House, a brilliant but acerbic diagnostician. He sat perched on his cane, not a crane, observing the newcomers with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. Sherlock, never one to mince words, jumped straight to the point. Dr. House, we have a murder to solve, and the evidence has led us to this hospital. We believe our paths may cross in the pursuit of the truth.
They just did.
House leaned back in his chair, a sly smile forming on his lips. A murder, huh? Well, that's refreshing change from the usual medical mysteries that I deal with here. Everybody lies, you know, even the dead. John raised an eyebrow, intrigued by the cryptic remark. Which John, though? Watson or Wilson?
Wilson is James.
Fair. Never mind me. Intrigued by the cryptic remark. We've heard of your reputation for unraveling complex medical cases, Doctor. We believe our abilities could be mutually beneficial in solving this murder. House glanced at Wilson, exchanging a knowing look. Fine, I'll play along. But I warn you, I don't play well with others. And I definitely don't do touchy-feely partnerships. Sherlock smirked, his eyes gleaming with excitement. No need to worry, Doctor. We prefer to work with people who appreciate the power of observation and deduction. Sentiment is not our strong suit either.
Speak for yourself, not for Watson.
And so, the unlikely partnership began. Oh, so it's a partnership after all, though. Sherlock and House's keen minds and unconventional approaches blended seamlessly as they delved into the intricacies of the murder case. Their relentless pursuit of the truth led them to uncharted territories, while John and Wilson watched on, observing the peculiar dynamics between their respective friends. As they worked side by side, Sherlock and House engaged in a battle of wits, each trying to outsmart the other. But why? They're still after the same thing, aren't they?
I think I forgot.
Fair. House's snarky comments and Sherlock's sharp retorts filled the air, creating an atmosphere that was equal parts tense and exhilarating.
What?
Meanwhile,
I'm a little afraid of where this is going.
Yes, same. I don't really see, where. Meanwhile, John and Wilson found themselves drawn to each other, bonding over the shared experience of being the normal ones in the company of extraordinary men. Their conversations often veered towards Sherlock and House's unconventional habits and idiosyncrasies. That's a word. One evening, as Sherlock and House pored over case files, John and Wilson found themselves alone in the hospital cafeteria. The conversation turned to their respective friends. Again. Wilson chuckled, his eyes glancing towards the office, where Sherlock and House were engrossed in their work. It's almost comical how similar they are, isn't it? Both geniuses, both aloof, and both with uncanny ability to drive people crazy. John nodded, a smile playing on his lips. Indeed. And have you noticed how Sherlock constantly accuses me of being in a relationship with him? As he's trying to deflect from the one close connection with you. Wilson laughed heartily, shaking his head. Well, House does have a habit of pushing people away. I suppose accusing others of being in a relationship is his way of deflecting any suspicions about his own emotions. But we both know that underneath all the layers of cynicism, there might be something more. John's eyes sparkled with curiosity. Do you think so? It's hard to imagine House opening to anyone. Wilson's expression softened. I've known him for a long time, and despite his gruff exterior, he does care about people. Sometimes he just needs a little push to show it. Back in the office, Sherlock and House were engrossed in their deductions, exchanging rapid-fire ideas and theories. Their synergy was undeniable, their minds operating on a wavelength few could comprehend. As they reached a breakthrough, Sherlock couldn't help but remark, House, your talent for this... House, your talent for deceit is impressive. It's almost as if you're hiding something. House smirked, his eyes glinting mischievously. Ah, the great Sherlock Holmes, master of deductions. But don't worry, you'll figure out eventually. Everybody lies, remember? Sherlock's gaze sharpened, a subtle nod conveying his acknowledgement. Indeed, everybody has something to hide. It's what drives us to seek the truth. Together, the two pairs of brilliant minds continued their relentless pursuit of answers, unraveling the intricate layers of the murder case, while simultaneously assisting House in solving a perplexing medical mystery involving one of his patients that came out of nowhere. As the days turned into weeks, they formed an unspoken bond, a silent understanding of each other's methods and quirks. John and Wilson found themselves observing Sherlock and House with newfound admiration. The connection between the two detectives was palpable, a silent camaraderie fueled by their shared brilliance. At times, the banter escalated into heated debates, only to dissolve into mutual respect moments later. Okay. On the final day of their collaboration, as they presented their findings to the authorities...
Which authorities?
We'll never find out about
Lisa
that.
Cuddy.
And or the Scotland Yard, I guess. Sherlock turned to House, a glimmer of admiration in his eyes. House, your ability to unravel medical mysteries is truly remarkable. I must admit, you surpassed my expectations. House smirked, a rare hint of satisfaction evident in his voice. Well, what can I say? I have a talent for getting to the truth, just like you. John and Wilson exchanged a knowing glance. Everybody is knowing glancing here. Their unspoken conversation echoing the sentiment of their friend's unique bond. As the case concluded, Sherlock and John bid farewell to their American counterparts, their paths diverging once more. Days later, John and Sherlock sat in the comfort of their Baker Street apartment, sipping tea, the events at Princeton Plainsboro Teaching Hospital lingering in their minds. John couldn't help but break the silence. Sherlock, do you think there's something more between House and Wilson? The way they interacted, it was almost like... Sherlock interrupted with a smirk. Like a romantic... I can't. Yeah. Like a romantic relationship? Yes, John, I've considered that possibility. After all, they share a bond that transcends friendship. But as you well know, everyone lies, even to themselves. John chuckled, raising an eyebrow. Do you love to overanalyze, don't you? Sherlock grinned, his eyes shining with mischief. I'm just applying my powers of deduction, John. The truth is out there. We just need to find it. And so Sherlock Holmes and John Watson continued their adventures, solving mysteries with their unparalleled deductive skills. As for House and Wilson, the complexities of their relationship remained a mystery, hidden beneath layers of sarcasm and unspoken words. But in the end, their connection was a testament of the power of extraordinary minds and the unbreakable bonds forged in the pursuit of the truth. The end. Okay, so what the fuck? I'm not quite sure if your intention was to like get some romantic energy sparked between either like House and Holmes or Watson and Wilson. But I feel like ChatGPT didn't really get the memo here.
Well, that's why I was like afraid. It was okay. It totally. Oh my god, I don't even know where to start. Okay, so the idea I had was the prompt I gave it was that they go there just like for the murder, and also the murder case would be connected to a medical case that House has, which ChatGPT just randomly mentioned in the second part of the story.
And not like it really mentioned like anything about the murder case other than there being a murder case.
That's also true. But I didn't give it any more specifics, so there's that. And I told them, I told ChatGPT to have them always like mistake the others to be in a relationship, but both ways. So House and Wilson think Holmes and Watson are in a relationship, and Holmes and Watson think that House and Wilson are in a relationship. And then it kind of mixed that super weirdly, where I was like super afraid it was like going
for House X Holmes.
Yes.
Yes.
Or even worse, Watson X Wilson. That was.
I don't know if that's worse.
It was weirder in the because they were just like, I imagined them just sitting at a table while the others were working the case, which is also kind of weird. Yeah, and then in the end, it kind of went back to the whole House and Wilson thing, and then this whole like relationship. I don't know.
Well, I mean, to be fair, like as much as it's worth, I think that Wilson and Watson would be a pretty cute couple, because obviously they're the emotional parts of the respective duo, so they would work well together and bond through their weird trauma of their asshole-ish friends. So I could see that happening.
I mean, I could also see people shipping Holmes and House.
I mean, yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
And that would be toxic AF.
Yeah, that was my main concern. Then whatever was
but
going on with them.
But it was also not at all what I was aiming at.
Yeah.
But I'm really kind of intrigued that ChatGPT did that, I guess. Other than that, it was very on character with the characters.
That's actually true, yeah. Like, did you tell it to use the everybody lies thing, or
yes.
did it just, okay.
I
was hoping for it to have dug that out by itself, but no. I figured.
I'm sorry, I told it that House should say everybody lies at least once.
But Holmes took it from him in the end,
yes.
So apparently they did bond.
I mean, there were a lot of paragraphs about that, I guess.
Sweet.
So yeah, but the prompt was.
I definitely got caught off guard because I was like, okay, you never know which kind of Sherlock Holmes is used in this kind of setting. So my mind immediately went to like the 19th century version of it. And the moment it went like, they went to America to play Princeton Plainsboro, I was just fucking losing it.
Okay, no, it was BBC Sherlock.
Yeah, I figured.
I specifically mentioned that, just in case.
Beautiful. Well, I definitely would give it the benefit of the doubt for having written a mildly disturbing romantic adjacent story that maybe dug out a little bit more parts of the fan fiction side of the internet as a base for it than it really wants to admit.
I kind of feel like it is the base for a lot of fan fiction to come from this point on, actually.
That also.
Because I have not seen any.
Please send us
Sherlock.
Please send us your fan fiction about Sherlock and House.
Or Wilson and Watson, if that's better for you. No, and I was actually really intrigued because it started with this like murder case, and there's a scientist. I didn't say anything. I just said there's a murder case. So it was like there's this famous scientist that got murdered, and I was really excited to go into that. And then it just kept going on and rambling for paragraphs and paragraphs about how they admired each other, and I was so confused because everyone admired everyone, and I didn't know. I just feel like they're like a quadruple in the end. I don't know.
Yeah, that also like kind of gave the energy. Yeah, it was really sad when it like sets these like precedents, like, oh, there's a scientist that has been murdered, and it's like a medical mystery how he even died, and then just like never mentions the whole thing again, like other than in passing, like, yeah, sure, they like
they solved the murder case and reported to the authorities. We don't even care which one, but I kind of like that it in the very end went back at like. They went back to London, so it like kind of did the whole full circle thing.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
Indeed.
Props for that.
Right. I would say it's like pretty close to being the most coherent story we've gotten so far.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, just story-wise and plot-wise, yes. What kind of rating would you give it out of 10?
I mean, I would. That's a good question. I'd say I'd give it like a solid 7 out of 10.
Yeah, that's
for deductions for not mentioning what the fuck happened with the murder, but the general confusing quadruple romance was quite intriguing.
Yes, that was nice. Yeah, 7 out of 10 is fair. Cool. Okay. Here's the second story. Poker showdown at Wendy's. In the dimly lit basement of a Wendy's in Jacksonville, a high-stakes poker game was about to begin. Oh god. Chad Kroger, the renowned frontman of Nickelback, sat confidently at the table. His signature hat pulled low over his eyes. Okay. He was joined by... Oh god. Oh no. He was joined by 3 unlikely opponents. Blake Bortles, the talented quarterback, Sherlock Holmes, the brilliant detective from the BBC show, and Chandler Bing, the quick-witted friend from the hit sitcom Friends. Thanks for clarifying.
Don't want anybody to mix them up.
As the cards were dealt, tension hung in the air. Chad Kroger observed his hand, a pair of aces, with a calm demeanor. Sherlock Holmes, analyzing the situation, meticulously examined his cards, revealing a straight flush in his mind palace. Blake Bortles smirked, holding 2 kings, while Chandler Bing glanced at his hand and chuckled, muttering something about pivot. I don't even know. Okay. The game commenced with Chad Kroger, the rock star, making the first bet. He tossed a stack of chips onto the table, and the others quickly matched with his wager. Wager. And the others quickly matched his wager, their eyes locked in a competitive gaze. The first community cards were revealed, a 2, 5, and 10. Oh my god, we're just getting all the details about this freaking poker game, aren't we?
Apparently.
Chandler Bing, renowned for his humor, made a witty remark. Well, could this be any more suspenseful? He decided to play it safe, holding his hand and sitting back, watching the events unfold. Blake Bortles, eager to prove his skills extended beyond the football field, called Chad's bet, confidence radiating from his demeanor. The next card, a 7, was unveiled, deepening the intensity at the table. Chad Kroger, keenly aware of his opponent's prowess, measured his options and placed another significant bet, causing the tension to escalate. Sherlock Holmes, his eyes narrowing with intensity, observed the cards and saw an opportunity. He raised the bet, a subtle smile dancing across his lips. Blake Bortles, now wary of Sherlock's calculated moves, called the raise, displaying a hint of nervousness. The final card, a 3, was revealed. The atmosphere grew electric as the players contemplated their next move. Chet Kroger, seizing the moment, pushed his remaining chips to the center of the table, signaling an all-in bet. The stakes were raised, and the others hesitated, glancing at each other in silent communication. Blake Bortles, adrenaline coursing through his veins, decided to go all in as well, fueled by his competitive nature. Sherlock Holmes observed their actions, deducing the probabilities with a sharp mind. Finally, after careful consideration, he made his decision. Holmes, too, went all in, his cold and calculated demeanor revealing no hint of emotion. The tension reached its zenith as the players revealed their hands. Chad Kroger displayed his pair of aces, a confident smile gracing his face. Blake Bortles revealed his 2 kings, his eyes widening in anticipation. Sherlock Holmes calmly showcased his straight flush, a glint of victory in his eyes. He had the straight flush from the very beginning.
He had it on his hand? That's not really how this works. Or did he just see into the future and like, oh, okay.
I have no idea. As the final hand played out, the outcome became clear. The community cards were no match for Sherlock's skillful deduction. With a victorious flourish, Sherlock Holmes claimed the pot, his sharp intellect triumphing over rockstar charisma, athletic prowess, and quick wit. As the others proceeded, the last Chet Kroger, acknowledging Sherlock's brilliance, leaned back and chuckled. Well played, Holmes. You truly are a master of deduction. I suppose there's no more poker than just a rockstar swagger. What? Sherlock, wearing a smart grin, replied, Indeed, Mr. Kroger. The game is not merely about the cards in hand, but the intricate strategies woven within the mind. With the game concluded, the players reflected on the thrill of the high-stakes poker match in the basement of a Wendy's. I want to cry. No, seriously. It was gold. Like, oh my god. Okay, first of all, great mix of characters. I also love that you also picked BBC Sherlock, just coincidentally, which is great.
Without any planning ahead.
Also, did you tell it that Chandler should use his signature phrase?
No, I didn't.
Oh, that's so good!
That was the one thing that got me so hard. I only said it was Chandler being from France. Period. That's it.
Okay, 10 out of 10 for that. ChatGPT props. Because that was the best. I mean, the pivot thing was also kind of got me off guard. Because it's not Chandler who says that, but he's like in the situation as well. Yeah. So that's fair.
He would be the guy to make fun of it for years.
I mean, yes. But I just love that. Could this be any more suspenseful? That was so good. Also, just Chad Kroger in every scenario. Love it. I don't know what his signature hat is. But
I have no fucking clue what that's supposed to mean either.
I just think that ChatGPT found a picture of him when he was wearing a cowboy hat like one time. And that's probably where it took that from.
I don't even know if it is able to like parse image to text.
Maybe it's the alt image text that it read. Whatever. There's also a Nickelback song that's called Cowboy Hat, so maybe it's that.
Maybe it took that, yeah.
Yeah. No, I loved it. I wouldn't have needed the whole poker game thing. Also, I kind of feel like it didn't understand poker.
Yeah, that's kind of... I mean, I didn't pay too close attention to the cards that were revealed. But
just numbers, like 7, 3, whatever.
Yeah, I'm not sure, like, if we go through it, if it actually comes up to be a straight flush. But we also don't get which cards Sherlock has on his hands.
And it just says it's a straight flush in his mind palace. So also love that it put in the mind palace. Did you put in any specific detail that should have been mentioned?
I pretty much only told it like the characters at the game that it happens at Wendy's basement.
I mean, yes, okay. I got that.
And that I wanted for ChatGPT to decide who wins at the end because I didn't want to. I wanted to be surprised too with that.
And it also kind of made sense for the characters, I guess.
I was a little disappointed because I also told it to make Chad Kroger like bet something that nobody expects as his all-in, like I don't know, his jet or his cars
or some of his cars
was my
sense.
thought, but he just went all in with all his chips, so that was a little bit more anticlimactic than I was hoping for it to be.
But it was very, like, ChatGPT was very specific about how intense the suspense in the room was, and then it was like electric.
Exactly.
I also just love that Chandler Bing just freaking folds and it's like out. Also very on character.
Exactly.
Love it. No, 10 out of 10. That was great. I had something else to say. Oh yeah, no, I also love that. I know what you wrote in the prompt when you told it which characters there were, and then it just like told us that they were from the TV show.
Yes. I think you get confused by the mix of like fictional and real characters.
It does, and sometimes it just does that. If you let it rewrite the story, it's probably not gonna say it.
Yeah. But I just also love the idea that BBC's Sherlock in this universe is like a reality TV show police procedural, where Sherlock Holmes for real just solves crime.
Yes. I also love that Chandler Bing is a friend from the hit show Friends. So that was great. Honestly, when I read the name Chad Kroger, that was also where my whole laughter started. Because I obviously, when I read it out loud, I read the next line while I'm still like saying the other. And I read the name, and I just couldn't. I knew it had to be good. It was such a good idea. And then I just skipped to like random names, and then the next name I read was Chandler Bing, and I was like, no way. Yeah. That was so good. It was really, really funny. I mean, I'd give it like a 9 out of 10, I think, because it was really, really funny. But the whole poker game thing was kind of taking the suspense out of it instead of building suspense. But that's maybe just because I don't play poker.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it also probably doesn't have that we are not sure how like right the hands were in this point with the whole like straight flush thing. Yeah, but I also like told it to make it like a not like a play-by-play, but for us to be able to follow the poker game. So
I mean, that's fair.
It delivered on that, I guess.
Yes, no, it did. It was very specific about that. No, but I freaking loved it. It was so great.
That was it. Our 2 stories for today. Thank you so much for listening.
And if you enjoyed this episode, share it with everyone you know who's still waiting for season 5 of Sherlock, and tell them if they didn't like this episode, we still have more plot at home.